You're welcome back, and many thanks for staying with us. Now, we can now go over the telephone and speak to the Dean of Institute of Local Government Studies, Dr. Eric Odro-Osai, who will share his opinion on the kind of mayor that Accra needs. Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And I wish you a very happy new year and a very good one as that.
I wish you same and many more.
All right. Now, the Accra metropolis is home to about 2 million people with as many challenges in terms of sanitation, infrastructure here and there. In terms of picking a mayoral candidate, what should be the priority? There have been issues about politics over competence. From your opinion or from your view, what should be the priority?
Thank you very much. In my view, I think there should be a fine balance between politics and competence because the incoming government has its own priorities. But the priorities of the incoming government should be in tandem with the priorities of the people of Accra. And Accra is a cosmopolitan area, and you need the kind of mayor who is very strong, who is up to the task, who is very approachable, who understands societal dynamics, and who is also very current and will be able to properly act as a liaison between the regional capital, especially Accra, which is the seat of government, and also the office of the president. He should be somebody who is appealing, who has the president's ear, who would be able to appeal to the highest level of authority. He should be somebody who is very respectful, and he should be somebody who can match the standards that has been set by their predecessors. And again, we shouldn't forget about the cultural dynamics, because Accra is dominated by the guns. In fact, it is a land for the guns. However, its cosmopolitan nature makes the person a unique person who should not only come from the Ghana area, but he should be somebody who will be acceptable by the business community within the Accra metropolis.
It's an interesting point you raised there. Now, you talk about someone who is able to do the work, and in this case, we're looking at expertise. I'll go back to the issue of standards that have already been set by predecessors, but I'd like for you to touch on the kind of expertise that is needed. Now, we're looking at someone who can get the president's ear, as you said, but we're also looking for someone who has got the competency to deliver. If we should look at the backgrounds of the people that should be tabled, what expertise should we, be going for?
We need a person who is a business-minded person, highly qualified person, who can rub shoulders with business and industry within the metropolis. We need somebody who has an eye for detail. We need somebody who has traveled widely and has an international appeal. We need somebody whose educational qualification is quite appreciable to the extent that he will be able to command the respect of development partners. So we need somebody who can think outside the box to mobilize enough resources or to attract adequate resources to partner whatever central government will bring to the assembly. And then we also need somebody who will manage the metropolis as a business.
So in this case, we're looking at someone who can play the politics, because you've got to be in the political, let's say, arena to be able to catch the president's eye or to be able to have his ear. Is that correct?
No, you need to be in the political arena, but you also need to command some respect and competence. In fact, you should be somebody who would be able to give the president policy alternative and give the president the assurance that when he goes to sleep, he should sleep. Because once you are in charge of Accra, everything will go on well. Most especially, businesses will thrive. Most especially, the city will be clean. Most especially, issues about armed robbery, security would be okay. And you should flow very well with the regional minister. And in certain cases, there have been instances where mayors have been invited to attend cabinet meetings. You should be that level-headed person who would be able to command that respect, to be able to sit with cabinet to take decisions.
That's very interesting. And I'm now going to go back to the point you raised about looking at standards set by predecessors. It appears to me from what you say that you are pretty much impressed by standards that have been set already. Is that correct?
Well, that is to say that development is a continuous process. So the predecessors from Oko van der Poy to Adrian Blankson and all of that, they come in and they add value to the process. Each and every one of them have something important that they brought in the Accra metropolis. I would expect any new mayor to continue with the good works of some of these predecessors and then also add on. So there is a baseline from where the person is going to start off.
And at this point, Doc, it is very interesting and it will be very necessary for us to touch on some specifics. Now, what, in your opinion, is the biggest achievement, for instance, of the current mayor, or let's say we're talking about Mr. Kovandapoi here?
Yeah, I think his biggest achievement had to do with the way he normally leads them when it comes to issues of sanitation. And the other achievement is the Millennium Schools, an attempt to make sure that they abolish the shift system. That is an achievement. And then I think he also did well when it comes to resource mobilization and engaging in PPP to support the Assembly's activities. Those were some of the good points. And I think he also brought a very good leadership style to bear on the administration of the Assembly, because under his leadership, it was clear that he worked as a mayor, not as any other ordinary chief executive.
But looking at his leadership style, he's come under criticism as well about how he's, sometimes he would stop a vehicle. There have been pictures or videos that have gone viral on social media of him stopping vehicles in the middle of the road. People have said that, really, this is not on. I mean, what do you say to that?
Definitely. Every leader has his good side and the bad side. The best thing for society is that we should ride on his good side and then leave the bad side away. If you're a leader and you're afraid of criticisms, you can never excel. I'm not looking out for a leader who would come in to repeat the bad practices of Kovandapoi. I'm looking at a leader who would come in to turn the bad practices of Kovandapoi into good practices. I'm looking at a leader who would come in and unify the whole of Accra, and then we'll get up one day and hit our chest and be proud that the metropolis is clean, the metropolis is okay to do business, the metropolis will be able to attract a lot of investment to ensure that sanitation and everything that a metropolis that houses the capital city of Ghana is clean, sound, and a place one can do business in.
You've spoken about your impression of how he's handled sanitation, the Millennium Schools, the abolition of the school, the shift system, the shift system, and all of that. And you've spoken also about his good leadership. But what for you is his lowest point, or the lowest point of his administration? Some people have said that after June 3 and after all after that disaster, all the people that we lost as a country, that he should have resigned.
No, Doctor, I think his lower side was his inability to stand on his grounds when it was getting to elections and the hawkers started coming onto the street. Those for me that thing was his lower side. Well, I was thinking that barring whatever the consequences may be, as a leader as he was, I was expecting him to stand on his ground. Well, at that point, he had nothing to lose. The president was not going to sack him anyway because he's going to contest for the parliamentary seat and he's exhausted his 80 years. So I was expecting him to stand on his ground, make sure that he sacked all the hawkers from the street, whether elections or no elections. But the fact that he bowed down to the political powers that be was, for me, his lowest side.
Well, you must be impressed now that he at least won the seats that he went to vie for.
Definitely, he's won it. I'm happy he's won. But again, I would expect him to bring his expertise in local governance to bear on the work of the select committee, local government select committee of parliament. And being a parliamentarian is different from being a mayor. So I would really be interested to see how he transits to become an MP. And as MP, what he can do to support the incoming mayor to develop Accra.
Can we do a little bit of speculation here? I mean, everybody will understand that we don't have it. We're just, speculating. Anyone tip to take over the mantle?
No, I have not come across any. In fact, it is up to His Excellency, the President-elect, to nominate. At the moment, I don't know who is in his good books to be able to
with the description that you've given, sometimes we know the people and we know how, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I am not a member of the president party, so it will be extremely difficult for me to know. But then if you have names, if names comes up, we'll be able to
not necessarily, not necessarily what's really going to be, but in your opinion, I mean, if you were to advise the president, if you've got the president's ear, what are you telling him at this point about who should be his next mayor?
I'll tell the president that when it comes to the mayors of Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Tamale, he should advertise. I would tell him that he should advertise, set up criteria, and then indicate what he wants the person to do. He should start by that. Most especially when the president-elect has assured Ghanaians that he's going to elect chief executive. He should start the process on a very good note by making sure that chief executives of metropolitan assemblies are advertised, by qualification criteria appropriately settled, and then they go through some level of screening to be able to ensure that you have the required chief executive, especially for Accra, that serves as the capital city of the region, and also somebody that he may want to invite to sit in his cabinet. That person should be a level-headed person that he is very comfortable and confident to deliver.
From a local government's perspective, is this not much more easier achieved through, say, legislation? Do we have that already? I doubt.
We don't have that in the legislation. It is very loose. It gives the president the opportunity to just appoint. So the process and the procedure of appointment is not properly documented. It is now that the new consolidated local governance bill that has been passed into a law has set up criteria for that. But I don't know whether the president-elect and the incoming administration will want to continue along that tangent.
But shouldn't he? If it's a legislation, then he should, right?
If it's a legislation, he has every right to continue. But then if it is also not in line with the policies he's promised Ghanaians, he also has every right with his majority in parliament to review the legislation to be in tandem with the policies he's promised Ghanaians.
Before I let you go, Doc, I'd like for you to address this issue for me. We've spoken to some people on the streets. One of the major themes that runs through what they say is sanitation and solving the sanitation problems of Accra. If we are to we're talking about getting a mayor who can do the job, but from a local government, once again, perspective, how do we ensure that even if there's going to be another mayor who is worth his salt, that there are some kind of provisions laid down that makes his work easier, or that makes it easier for him to take some decisions irrespective of political patronage?
We should be able to ensure that the bylaws are working. The mayor should be bold to apply the bylaws. Secondly, we should be able to apply the principle of polluter pay. The polluter pay principle must be applied to the highest level, to the extent that those who create the mess and the filth must be made to pay for the services that are rendered. Aside from that, the mayor should be able to partner with the private sector to do a conversion of the waste into something useful. That is an aspect we've not been able to do. If the mayor is able to tackle these three things, ensuring that the legislation, the bylaws, that requires sanctions to be applied to people who violate environmental rules are punished accordingly, and then making sure that he's able to apply the polluter pay principle, where those who create the filth are made to pay for the services of the waste management companies, and then also the conversion of the waste into something productive for Ghana. If you're able to do that, you'll be solid. Recycling, yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting. I said I was going to let you go on that, but another quick one is the point you made about advertising the position of a mayor. If the next if you have the ear of the president, that's what you're going to tell him. How does that work together with the new, one of the promises that they've made to Ghanaians that we're going to elect MMDCEs? How does that tie in?
The election of the MMDCEs can happen maybe in 2018 or 2019, because there are a number of legislative provisions that would require amendment. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. But to enable the president start on a very good note, to enable the president have a certain critical mass of chief executives who would at least manage the metropolitan assembly that serves as urban local government in Ghana to support its administration. If he can advertise those positions and set qualification criteria so that he will be able to attract the most competent people to be able to perform the services, it will help. What it means is that he will then raise the standard and the caliber of people who serve in his government, while putting in place the necessary measures to undertake the relevant amendments to ensure that come 2018 or 2019, chief executives can be elected.
Okay. I'll say a very big thank you to you, even though you have not been able to, give me a name. I thought that you would have a name. I mean, of course, you've got the expertise, so you probably would have a name. But it's okay. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you, my sister.
That is Dr. Eric Odro-Osai, who is Dean of the Institute of Local Government Studies there, helping us to make sense of what has happened, what people are saying about the next mayor of Accra. It's a big position, you know, and we need to scrutinize who gets there. Basically, all that he's saying is that it will be good if he's got the president here. This is what he's going to tell him. It will be good for the president to advertise this position, set out a criteria, and make sure that the people who meet those criteria are actually well vetted before they're given that position. Basically, what people are saying is that we need to take care of our sanitation problems here in the capital. Hopefully, we will get to do that. Now, let's do a bit of sports, shall we? The Public Relations Director and spokesperson of the Ghana Football Association has published the names of the 21 players that will make up the Black Stars team for AFCON 2017.
For the campaign in Al Ain in the United Arab Emirates. The goalkeepers are Razak Brahima from Cordoba in Spain, Adam Kwarase Rosenborg in Norway, and Richard Ofori, Wa All Stars. The defenders are Harrison Affle, Columbus Crew in the United States, Andy Yadom, Barnsley, England, Baba Abdulrahman, Schalke, Germany, Frank Echampong, Anderlecht, Belgium, John Boy, Sivasspor, Turkey, Jonathan Mensah, Anzi in Russia, Daniel Amate, Leicester City, England, Edwin Jima, Orlando Pirates, South Africa. The midfielders are Emmanuel Ajimambedu, Udinese, Efie Aqua, Torino in Italy, Thomas Partey, Atletico Madrid in Spain, Mubarak Wakaso, Panathinaikos, Greece, Ebenezer Ofori, AIK Stockholm in Sweden, Christian Achu, Newcastle United in England, Samuel Tete, Leiferen, Austria, Joseph Lawe Atama, Basikeshe, Turkey, Andre Ayew, West Ham, England. The strikers are Asamoah Gyan, Al Ahly, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan Ayew, Aston Villa, England, Abdul Majid Waris, Lorient in France, Ebenezer Asifwa, Sion in Switzerland, Bernard Tekpete, Schalke, Germany, and Raphael Dramina, Austria Lustenau, Austria. Thank you very much, and you can now field your questions.
That is Ibrahim Sani Dara there. Meanwhile, coach of the team, Mr. Avram Grant, is calling for support from the Ghanaian because according to him, that's the only way that the team can succeed.
I want to say that it was like last time. If everybody needs to be together until the end of the tournament, no matter what will happen. It's supporters, media, I know that it's not easy, and of course, me, the players, and the management. We did it well in the last tournament. We lost by 22 penalties. That was lucky. And we want to win. But we are not the only one. There is a lot of good teams now that are coming to the tournament. I think there's not much difference between the big teams. So the difference will be spirit, of course quality, but the quality is more or less the same as far as I know, and tactics also can close the gap, even if it's not a big gap. But if you can name by yourself at least 8 countries that if they win it will not be surprised, but we want our ambitions, but first we need to win these tough group stages, which is not easy. But we did all the way from here also to please the people. I say again, I'm meeting the people in the streets, very nice, very supportive. I meet some of you also, nice supporters. I say, nobody can need to agree with me. I sometimes not agree with other people. But I will do my best that we will do it. Any decision you need to know of a coach about the squad, about the starting 11, about the substitute, is not easy decision. it's easy to sit from the side and say, oh, we need to play, need to play. And I call it in my lectures, Sunday's professors. After the game, everybody knows. When the player didn't score, why didn't change it? It's normal. I say it also the same when I'm outside. So I say, why you didn't tell me 20 minutes before that he will not score in the last 20 minutes? I will take him out. So I don't have easy job, but I like my job. And I like my job here in Ghana. I like the passion here. So I expect the same support that we had last time. It was really touching after the tournament, during the tournament. And we will do really, I can promise you, all our best. And I think you don't have any complaints since I'm here that the players that don't fight, they will give everything for the team. And we will go positive. And I hope you will do it. I believe in this team, and I believe in the people around.
Thank you. My name is Torben. I'm from Denmark. I have a question for you.
Coach Grant there. It will be interesting to know what all Ghanaians think about his selection. But of course, our strong Joy Sports team is standing by to bring you some more analysis on this particular development. This is The Pulse. I'm going to take a very quick break. We'll return shortly. Please stay with us.